of people have come out to this. We are going to try out one of those events right now. We have our own officer, Angela Sands, in the dunk tank. Let's see if we can get it. The managers of the rail yard want to expand the liquor license from here inside the gates of the rail yard, from Q to R Street, all the way to right here. 4 people are without a home after an explosion inside this apartment building. I talked to 2 of the residents who lived there and were there when it happened. They said they heard the explosion in the basement, ran outside, and are thankful to be alive. In case you weren't able to make it out today to donate, the Battle of the Badges competition will continue through August. How often do you find yourself in this situation? You're driving down the road and your eyelids start getting heavier and heavier. And no matter what you do, you just can't wake up. I'm on North Cotner Boulevard between Garland and Layton Streets. This is where the accident happened, and we now know more about that crash. The Olchen-Bruns family is starting over. A new life in a new place with new hope for the future. Hope that couldn't be kept in Nebraska no matter how hard they tried.
It became obvious when Lancaster County was making more off of our farm than we were that something needed to change.
They farmed around 1,000 acres near Ceresco for over 50 years. But as their farm operation grew, so did Nebraska's taxes. By the time they decided to get out, they had a property tax bill of $50,000 a year.
It's kind of like watching somebody blow a hole in the bottom of your boat and nobody's putting a thumb in to stop the water. You know the boat's going to sink.
Then they made a tough decision. They packed up their farm and their home and ended up here in Warrensburg, Missouri.
It takes something really profound to get a farmer to leave the land that he's bled over. The land becomes a member of the family. It's as much a member of the family as your son or your wife. You've put your life into it. Your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather have put their life into it.
His son was set to take it over to continue carrying on the legacy that land held.
Farming's in our blood, it's what we do.
But they had no option. They aren't the only farm to go. Look at this graph. According to the USDA, in the last 5 years, the number of farms in Nebraska has dropped significantly. Nebraska has the 7th highest property tax rate in the U.S. at an average of 1.83% of the value of your land. Fritz ties the problem back to the unicameral and rural representatives being outnumbered by urban representatives.
They're just piling on ag, and with low commodity prices and high input costs, coupled with these insane property taxes, there isn't any money left. Nebraska's building their economy on a house of cards.
In Missouri, their situation is very different. They've gone from paying $50,000 in property taxes to less than $1,500, and they own more land.
Yeah, it's glorious.
As far as being here, I think one of the first things we noticed was the feeling of just freedom. Freedom from giving away everything we produce to the government. And I would say to all of the farmers that are going to watch this, whether you're talking about Missouri or the Dakotas, Minnesota, Kansas, Oklahoma, wherever, until the unicameral cleans up their act on the tax situation, you are better in any one of those states than you are in Nebraska. Get out, or force them to change.
Fritz said he would stand up and fight himself if he wasn't toward the end of his career, hoping to build a new history for his family.
Isn't that the dream we all have? A legacy? A history? We had that in Nebraska. We had to forfeit it. So, here we are.
Here they are in Missouri, a new state, a new life, but following the same dream.
Point is, we're doing what we love to do, what we've always done, and we found greener pastures.
Out of nowhere, we just heard this big explosion.
The whole foundation on our house just shook.
Literally, the bricks flew off the building.
I heard the window shake. I was afraid to come out of my room. I thought somebody broke into my house.
And by the time I turned around, the whole house was engulfed in flames.
That group of neighbors was next door when a fire caused by an explosion broke out at 29th and N. There were 4 people inside the apartment building. They all made it out alive and nobody was hurt.
I know the guy who lives in the basement. He works at the gas station up the street, and it's devastating.
But this explosion proved to be a tough battle for firefighters because of the extensive damage.
Did pull all the crews out and went defensive because of the possible collapse, and we didn't want to have anyone injured.
They'll likely still be there for much of the day into Thursday monitoring hotspots.
We're not going in, so we're shooting water from the outside on this.
The damage also makes things difficult and dangerous for fire investigators. They've done all they can from outside, but that hasn't shed light on what happened, and they need to get inside.
We're going to be bringing in some heavy equipment to remove part of the unsafe area so we can get in and do our investigation.
They haven't ruled out natural gas.
The gas line from the outside up to the meter, they tested and was fine. Our focus is basically from the gas meter inside the house.
Investigators will hopefully be back here tomorrow to get a better idea of what caused this damage. As of now, we are just thankful the 4 residents got out okay. The Red Cross was here this morning to help them find places to stay, as this is a total loss. A Christmas card.
Well, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's a small gesture that can go a long way. To Silas Parker, a 3rd grader here in Lincoln, this small gesture means a lot.
My Girl Scout group, we started caroling here, and that made everyone really happy. So then I thought about I could come here and give Christmas cards.
She decided she wanted to deliver not just a few cards, but 1,000 Christmas cards. She took the first batch to Clark Geary Assisted Living Facility today.
That's very nice.
Each card was hand-designed by Silas and printed by Goldenrod Printing for free. One of the residents, Marilyn Holcher, says she used to be a teacher, and seeing Silas reminded her of how much she loves spending time with children.
She's just wonderful.
But Silas isn't doing this for the compliments, though she got many.
I think someday your name will be on the greeting cards that we will buy. Because that's very special. Thank you.
You're welcome.
She does it to make others happy.
I hope they think that, that I was thinking of them. You're welcome.
I think that means a lot, especially to people who are maybe in the rest home or places that can't get out and get around.
She does it to show people what Christmas is really about: giving, sharing, and caring.